Hi, my name is Ethan and welcome back to another PC vlog. Now if you follow me on social media, you'll know that I recently purchased this, which is the COOLERMASTER Hyper 212X, which I'm going to be fitting into my computer. So, without further ado, let's have a look what's in the box. Okay, so here we have the COOLERMASTER Hyper 212X, from, of course, COOLERMASTER. I've already looked in the box, I will confess. But I was going to do this as a separate unboxing video, but then I realised I know jack all about CPU fans and stuff. This is the first time I've done it, because this computer build that I've got here is actually my first ever computer build. So I'm learning while you're learning. This is kind of a documentation. So let's open the box. So in the top we've got this little top box, and then within that, the main box, we've also got this one. So that's the actual cooler itself. Very nice. So, when we open this up, we should have... I can figure out how to even open it. Ah, there we go. So we should have a bit that goes on the back. I've forgotten what that's called, bracket. So that goes on the back of your motherboard, I believe. And that bit goes on the front of your motherboard. This is a really detailed unboxing. And then we've got a load of screws, some thermal paste, don't know what that is, and then some instructions and some warranty information. I didn't even know it came with a warranty. 2-year warranty, nice. Okay, I'll look at all that later. Okay, so now the main actual cooler. So here we have some silica gel, don't need that. And then in here we have the cooler. Oh no, hang on. We have another CPU bracket thingy. Okay, we'll figure it out. Don't worry guys, we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. This is going to be a fun video. This is why this is I must stress this, guys, and I'm going to stress this again before I actually fit this. This is not an instructional video. This is a PC vlog. PC vlog, not PC instruction. PC vlog. This is me potentially screwing up my PC, so you don't have to. Yeah, PC vlog. Don't follow the instructions in this video. I am in no way responsible for you f***ing up installing your CPU, and yes, I will have to beep that. And I meant CPU cooler, by the way. CPU cooler, not CPU. This is not a CPU. So, here we have the tower heatsink. So, yeah, you've got heat pipes, the actual plate that goes on the CPU there. Look, I'll show it to this camera, probably see it better. And you've got this lovely 120mm fan to cool your CPU. So, yeah, let's install this mother lover. I'll do that again. Let's install this CPU cooler. Ding. Okay, so now we know what's in the box. We've got all this stuff on the desk. We need to look at the instructions. Yay. We've got this one. This one, that's the old one. This is the one we've got. And we need to find the instructions for our CPU. So obviously, yay, for both Intel and AMD, the fan can come off. Good. I'm glad they told me that, because I didn't figure that out for myself. Hello, at Shani Girl 1. I'm dyslexic. Cool. Yeah. So I just attempted to do a periscope of this build, which went swimmingly. I've decided that I'm not doing that again. I think I figured out how I actually need to install this CPU cooler. So I'm going to move my computer out of there, unplug it, stick it over here, and we'll see if we can not screw this up. So here we are again. We've got this, my PC is here. According to the instructions, we can actually install this new CPU cooler while the motherboard is still in the case. So I might attempt to do that. Only thing is, I'm not entirely confident getting this CPU cooler that's already on there off. Well, it's like that. So what I might do... You know what? No, I'm going to stick to plan A. I'm going to install it out. I'm going to at least install some of it outside of the case, and then I'll see what I need to do. Something I am going to have to do later. Over here, I have the side panel, that goes on this side. And as you can see here, there are some fans, and they kind of go directly here, sort of, when this side panel's on. And that's going to lead to some problems because the new CPU cooler is going to stick out to about here. It literally only will just fit in the case, which means these fans are going to have to go. So I've got to figure out something to do with that. I'm thinking of maybe trying to jerry-rig one of them into here, so I've got 2 intakes. But I'm not sure how well that's going to go. I'll have to see. But for now, I'm just going to remove hard drives and stuff that's in the way of getting the motherboard out. So, I have removed pretty much anything that's going to get in the way of us taking the motherboard out. Obviously I need to unplug some things, like front panel connectors, which I'm unplugging now, and then we can lift the motherboard out. And I don't have an anti-static mat or anything, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the packet that the motherboard comes in, which is anti-static, as like a mat, and the motherboard box as like a stand to put it on while I'm working on it. There we go. Just try and shove all those cables off to that side there. There we go. So everything is unplugged. So all that remains now is unscrewing the motherboard. Okay, there are all the screws. Now we just got to try and get this thing out. I always hate doing this because it always feels like I'm going to break something. One thing I am slightly worried about is that the RAM might get in the way of actually putting the new CPU cooler on, because it's quite high profile, in which case we'll just have to stick this one back on, which would be a bit of a disaster. But I'm going to take the RAM out for now. So, moment of truth. There's no turning back at this point. I am slightly nervous. Unplug the fan and then lift this up. So, here we go. So from memory, it should just... Okay, I might be being a complete dumbass, guys. I just need to look at some instructions somewhere, I think. Right, I'll be back, guys. I'm going to have to look at some tutorials here. This is confusing me, to say the least. It seems like I was right. You don't have to undo any screws. It's just a little bit difficult to pull off. You just have to put a little bit of force behind it, wiggle it around a little bit. From the video I just watched, I just need to... Again, this is not an instructional video, guys. Do not follow anything I do. There we go. There we go. Nice. That comes out off nice and easy. And there's not actually too much thermal paste left on the CPU. So there we go. There's my stock heatsink removed. There goes the noisy, irritating AMD stock heatsink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the really good, like, don't do this at home kids method of cleaning your CPU's thermal paste off. I'm just going to go and get some kitchen roll and I'm just going to wipe it off. Some of the thermal paste here appears to have actually spread off the CPU, which is not good at all. So I'm going to have to very delicately remove that. So I'll be back in a second, guys. Yeah, we don't have any kitchen roll. I'm just going to have to use some tissues.
That's really bad if that gets in the socket. That's so bad if it gets in the socket.
Right. So I'm just going to... It's completely dry, I don't want to get any moisture on it. I'm just going to
go like this. Try and get as much off as I possibly can.
So, CPU clean. I'm not going to take the CPU out of its socket because I am a little worried that you really don't want to get thermal paste in your CPU socket, guys. That's really not good. That's basically goodbye motherboard, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you might be able to clean it out, but yeah, good luck to you. We need to get this bracket here and stick that on the back of the motherboard. So I think I need to remove the current bracket that's on the motherboard. I didn't think about it actually. I'm presuming, unless the Wraith cooler uses the same bracket to attach the CPU cooler to the motherboard, all these older motherboards for AMD CPUs, for the AM3 Plus socket at least, which is what I've got here, you wouldn't actually be able to install it because this is the bracket. The bracket for the CPU cooler came with the motherboard, and the CPU cooler came with the CPU. So where would I get the bracket from? I don't know. Just a thought. So I'm gonna just screw this back together just so I don't lose parts if I should ever need it. Now, if I sell this motherboard, I'll obviously want to put all this back on. Although I very much doubt that by the time I get round to getting rid of this motherboard, because I'm planning on I don't know, I'm looking at when these new Zen architecture CPUs come out. I'm thinking of getting one of them, getting a new motherboard, which means I'd sell this. But I'm presuming that anyone who's buying AMD when the new Zen architecture comes out, because it's been so long since AMD released a new CPU architecture, I'm presuming everyone's going to go, yay, Zen! Oh, what's that? You're trying to sell the second-hand AM3 Plus motherboard? Screw you, I want DDR4. Right, so we've removed the old CPU cooler bracket. So this now needs to go on the back in the place of that. So I don't actually know which way around it goes. I'm presuming it goes that way.
So it looks like we need these standoffs.
Let's just flip the motherboard over a second and have a look. So it looks like it fits like that. So it looks like what you have to do, these stick through here like this, I think.
I'm very, very wary of the possibility of damaging my motherboard whilst doing this.
What I'm trying to do now is just kind of lightly put the screws under so it holds the bracket kind of in place, and then hopefully I can tighten them down properly in a minute. So there we go, that's the new bracket kind of installed on the back. I don't want to tighten them too much because obviously same rules. Woo! Attaching anything to your motherboard that requires screws, you don't want to do it too tight because you don't want to risk breaking the PCB, because that would be super bad times. There you go. That's the new bracket. See, this would be the time I want to just do a quick test. That's going to fit kind of like that, isn't it? Woo!
Okay, so this is where I've got a little problem. On this motherboard,
if you're using 2 sticks of RAM, you need to be using the first 2 slots.
That is literally right up against
the RAM, and it doesn't fit.
Right, well that might be the end of this for today. I might have to buy some new RAM.
I'm sure it will work if I stick the RAM in the other 2 slots. Will it work as well?
Hang on. I might have been doing this wrong anyway. Ah! I've been putting it in the wrong... Well, you see, this is why it's always good to look back at the instruction manual. I'm not sure why I put them in those 2, but I just presumed that was the right place to put it in.
I think I swear I'd read that in the instruction manual, but I obviously didn't. It says here, for optimum performance when enabling dual channel mode with 2 memory modules, we recommend that you install them in DDR3-1,
which is this socket,
and DDR3-2,
which is this socket, which means the RAM would go here, and here. Well, didn't I say at the beginning of this video that I'd learned something? I didn't realise I'd learned that. So this means that we can fit the cooler on with plenty of space, as you can see, but there is also the irritating possibility, well, that means that if I'd planned, because I got two 4 gig sticks, I planned on just getting 2 more of these sticks to upgrade to 16 gigs of RAM, but I'm going to actually have to get some low profile RAM, that means. So what we need to do next then is put this to one side for now, and we need to have a look at this. So it needs to be, for AM3 Plus, we need to move these screws into the middle slot, which it doesn't say how to do. So if you look on here, there's 3, you can't really see properly here, but there's 3 kind of holes within one hole. We need this one to be in the middle one for AM3 Plus. These instructions are the worst. They're like, it's like trying to I think this COOLERMASTER, I think they might actually be owned by IKEA. Look, there's literally no written stuff other than that. Look, that's the written stuff. It says, it's kind of helpful. Look, that, yeah, great. But you don't tell me how to move the thing into the middle socket, do you? Okay, so, update. Turns out I'm a colossal idiot. All you have to do is lift it, like that. So you just, once again, not an instructional video, but you just pull it like this, and it slots along, and back into place. Okay, so, luckily for us, just the teeniest. That should be more than enough. Now we need to peel this off. There we go. Let's move it around a little bit. Looks like all that's left to do now is stick the fan on the CPU cooler. So one of the things we've got to do now, for definite, is remove these fans. What we've got to decide, however, is whether or not we just leave these fans out, or whether I try to stick one of them here. Okay, so what I'm trying to do now is just work out whether I actually need to take both fans off. I think that will fit snugly, but I think it will fit. So I've decided I'm definitely not going to put fan. I'm going to just remove this fan for now, and then I'm now going to fit the motherboard back in, and then we'll see whether this side panel fits back on. This is not fun. This is not fun. So the motherboard is now sat back in the case. So I think what I'm going to do, actually, I'm not going to screw it in. I'm going to see, I'm going to test now if this side panel fits on, so we can find out now rather than later. It's tight, but it does. Okay, there we go. Right, so as you can see, I've plugged in just literally the bare minimums. I have put everything in other than the hard drives. I'm just going to see if it turns on. So, CPU temperature 20 degrees. Okay, so the first proper boot up with a new CPU cooler. It's weird it booting up and being this quiet. I'm used to it booting up and straight away going beep and then whoo. So there we go. It's all up and running. I think what I'm going to do now, that's all up, is I'm going to show you some footage now of the fan before, how loud it was before, and then in different scenarios, and then footage of exactly the same thing but with the new CPU cooler. So, one haircut later and I finally got around to finishing this video. But anyway, as you can see there in those clips that you've just seen, the new CPU cooler is significantly quieter. In fact, I don't think that those videos actually quite do it justice. It's much more noticeably quiet in person than it was on camera. I think also, in particular, one I wasn't very happy with is the YouTube one. I'd only just booted my computer up when I did that. Usually if my computer had been on for a while, it would have been almost as loud as it was when I was playing Euro Truck and Flight Simulator. But the main noticeable difference now is I can actually have this computer on and comfortably use speakers to hear the audio coming from it, rather than having to use my headphones, which was the main goal really of upgrading this. It's now a much more usable computer because it's quieter. It's unbelievable how much I've actually started using it more instead of just using my MacBook to watch YouTube and stuff. So just because it's quieter. So definitely well worth it, the upgrade. Thank you very much for watching this PC vlog. Again, can't stress enough, it's PC vlog, not instructional video. If you break your computer whilst following anything I did in this video, that's completely on you. Because I've told you not to do it, so listen to me, I know what I'm talking about sometimes. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you want something else to watch, you can check out my last PC vlog where I fitted the Corsair CX600M. Goodbye.